What's up, everybody? I wanted you guys to see Joe and Mika dig even deeper holes for themselves when they speak upon the media juxtaposed to social media. Them against us.
Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour, every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What the Wall Street Journal does matters. What Jonathan Lemire does matters. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
You know what else matters, Joe and Mika? The truth as to why you two went to Mar-a-Lago and met with Donald Trump. See, you guys came back and told us this random bullshit, but no specifics. They're consistently acting as if we're the bad ones, we're the non-truthful ones, we're the ones that are putting our feelings over facts. When it is factual that Joe and Mika have been for years talking about how terrible Donald Trump is. It is factual that you went back down to Mar-a-Lago and bent the knee and kissed the taint of Donald Trump. And it is factual that people like myself actually watch it and see it for what it fucking is. But yet you want us to sit here and lie and say that we didn't see what we saw? See, the difference between you and people like myself is that we keep it factual no matter what. You guys literally mentioned that us social media people get paid, so therefore somehow we're like untruthful. Sir and ma'am, you can add all of us up, multiply it by 10, and neither one of us combined makes what you make, sir. Let alone what Mika makes. Combined from what we do, how much work we put in. And I guarantee you we put in more work than you do. See, we know, at least I do. I was in the industry for over 20 years. You are an opinion show, which means you really don't do news. Sir, you are a politician. You really aren't news. You are opinionated news. But you're acting like you're a news show. No, you guys share opinions about these facts. And the young man you had on was somebody who's actually in the press that actually writes news. You know, a place where you actually just bring them on to validate your opinion show. Yeah, we see you for who you are, Joe and Mika. Joe would sit there and talk forever about his feelings of shit and have one fact and expound upon that shit for fucking 45 minutes and act as if he's talking about fact. No, the fact left the building once you told it at the very beginning of your rant. The rest of it was not fact, sir. It was your opinion. Whether I believed in it or not, it was your opinion, and I respect that. But please don't come on here acting like you're spreading all the factual shit and then try to discredit social media by saying we get paid these piddly winks. You understand that us social media people have multiple jobs because this social media thing don't pay off. We do it for the facts reason only, not because we want somebody to like us and come to us. Our comment section is filled sometimes with assholes. We don't have the money or the lawyers to fight it. We take it on the chin and keep moving forward with facts. We're not beholden to any advertisers or no executive producers who have their own ideas on what the fuck to say, on top of you being connected to the people. You know what I mean? You have all these Republicans and other people come onto your show and spread their ideologies as opposed to facts. And you know how you just kind of like don't really check them? Every once in a while you'll say, well, I get that, I don't get that. But again, they put that into the ecosphere. And people who like you attach that to being true because you don't debate it. And when you do debate stuff and people like it, like what Trump is and what he stands for, instead of that man apologizing for what he does and then you guys have some kind of good grace with him, he continues to be the ass and the person that you said he was to be. More like a Hitler, you said. You didn't say these exact words, but you compared him to the mustache 1930s man, didn't you? But somehow, without him ever apologizing, you're bending the knee and you expect us to look at you like you have some kind of validity now. Yeah, you may have some validity amongst those people who are blind to facts, who are more into the personality of Joe and Mika as opposed to their actual standards. You don't know us, but we only know you because some rich white person put you on TV many years ago thinking that you were some valid person. It's not because you actually earned it. It's because somebody gave it to you. You didn't become a journalist all of a sudden because you went to journalism school and became the best journalist out there. No. See, The end of real journalism started with cable news. That thing that you guys are on. Yeah, if you look at the trajectory as it's been falling down for decades, it was real news when it was actually broadcast. When cable came amongst, it became a lot of talking heads. The idea of being a news journalist had nothing to do with you going to journalism school. It had everything to do with your popularity, your connections to certain people like politicians and celebrities. That got you to be able to be called a opinion news show. There's no such thing. It's either news or it's opinion. You guys are opinion, but you go under the moniker of news, which became the destruction of news. And if we want to go a little bit further, you guys were the start of it. And guess what? Shows like TMZ, they're the ones who started destroying news. You guys opened the gate. He saw the money and he ran right into it to the point where he started paying for news. Oh, news wasn't something you just discovered that was new. News was manufactured. Yeah. So TMZ started manufacturing news, getting it first. Then news stations started catching on second. And then the broadcast waited to see if that shit was valid and they posted it. So the news became the last to be able to post some shit that was real but manufactured. It got everybody believing that the faster news comes out, the more factual it would be. Cable news caught on to it, saw the monies and the dollars ringing in from old boy from TMZ. The last on board, which I work for, was local and network news. Soon as they caught on, news was gone. That's when I left. And this gentleman right here talking about what news used to be. Sorry, sir. Please tell the truth. News stopped being news when cable got into play. The real news, which this man works for, is print news. See, most people didn't know that TV news got most of their stories from print news. Yeah, every morning they wake up and read the print, and then the news directors and all the different reporters and anchors would come in and pitch the stories that they read in their newspapers. Then you went out and got all the information that you needed, and the local people would literally put out the local news. If it rose to a great story, national would take it. Yeah, I know this game, baby. I know this thing probably better than you because you're not really in news. I was in news. You're in opinionated news. So you can't sit here and try to educate me just because you made more money than me. I've been in this game well over 20 years. I left it because I knew it was falling the fuck apart. I like facts, not your fucking feelings. So if you really want to get down to it, Joe and Mika, the reason why you guys are swimming and barely staying afloat right now and people are jumping ship is because you're trying to turn on the people who followed you by saying there's something wrong. Because you got to understand, most of these people that you're talking about social media are fans of the news. They were fans of you and Mika. And they wanted to hold everybody's feet to the fire because they realized that even Joe and Mika have a little shaded opinion about shit as opposed to the actual facts. They start digging and doing homework and start realizing you guys aren't recanting your fuck ups. You're just moving on to the next story. So they caught on and said, wait a minute, Joe and Mika and all these different other anchors and reporters, they fucked this story up. This is exactly what happened. Here's the receipts. And that's how social media news started to take the fuck off. Us catching you guys not doing your homework. And now that social media news is becoming just as important as you've been seeing a lot of these people coming out. Hey, in the last few weeks, I had 1 million views. And Joe and Mika are fighting to get 700,000. And they're trying to say, oh, we're valid. Well, sir and ma'am, you weren't valid when regular broadcast news was whooping your ass. And then you guys came out with a shaded aspect of news and not really having news. You had a little flair to it, sensational shit, finding out where stars were dating and all this shit like that. Then it became this news where you guys were spreading all this gossip on top of news. It's opinionated news. You're the destruction of real news. You can't get a person that worked for broadcast for years not to say that if it wasn't for cable news, it wouldn't have destroyed what journalism was all about. And they also will say, if it wasn't for TMZ and things of that nature, it wouldn't have destroyed news. All those things destroyed news. Because why? They didn't seek facts. They manufactured them. And because they made money, which old news broadcast wasn't about making a lot of profit. It was about getting the news out there. But soon as making profit and getting it first came into play, everything got fucked up. Now that's the history of real news in this country. And so you guys want to come out and tell everybody there's something wrong with social media. Sir and ma'am, there's something wrong with you guys. Because you know what? When I get stuff wrong, I can admit it. You guys got this wrong, all fucked up. And you want everybody else to cater to you like you ran and catered to Donald Trump. Even though he's wrong, you still went and kissed his ass. You two are wrong and you want your followers to kiss your ass, and some of them will do it. You know why? Because it's very similar to this. When I used to work for people, which I don't really do anymore, when I used to work for people and rely on their money so that I could live my life, I was still the same way. But I got to witness people like Joe and Mika. Those people, when you went to work, they kissed the ass of everybody that was above them so they can get ahead, took credit for other people's shit, even though it wasn't them. But they did it anyway so that they could rise. And when they got to the top and all the little guys and so forth, they didn't care about them. They wanted to keep rising. So much so that if something fucked up, they blamed everybody else for it and wouldn't take a responsibility for their own fuck up. Sounds familiar, Joe and Mika? You guys fucked up, went and talked to the enemy, tried to say that you guys had some kind of control in that conversation and that we need to speak to the enemy and all this other bullshit about Mika's dad and all that bullshit. Trying to justify that you ran like cowards. And now you're trying to tell the people who followed you and trusted you, who jumped ship because they can't believe in your ass anymore, that it's their fault. Something's wrong with them. How about taking some responsibility and grow the fuck up? Say we fucked up and move forward. But you can't say that. And if you can't say that, that's why people are gone from you. Because when the news was wrong, you didn't correct it. When you are wrong, you won't correct it. Why don't you reflect on the fact that you fucked up and you're saying that you're not going to correct it? You just want us to cater to you. Well, I'm sorry. You're under the spotlight and everybody is lighting fire under that ass. And you're sitting here talking about, we did our part. We was doing the right thing. No, you didn't. Yes, we were. No, you didn't. Yes, we were. All right, bye, we gone. But we still, who's listening? You fucked up and continue to fuck up until you recant and say, you know what? We did fuck up. We should have never went and talked to that guy because what we said is true about him and nothing's changed. Only us has changed. Our fear of him made us cater to him and say, fuck you to our followers that have been unbelievably loyal to y'all. See, his people, Fox and all that, cater to him. They're sycophants. And what you did was become a sycophant. So can we trust you? Or do we think you're going to be a sycophant every time he says something that doesn't make sense? Are you going to hold his feet to the fire? Or are you going to kiss his ass and run back to Mar-a-Lago? Get on the phone and tell him, you know, we got some news coming up that's going to be about you. You might want to head it off. Okay? All right, we're going to talk about it. Yep, 6:55. Yep, it's going on air. Okay. At 6:30, Donald Trump comes up and negates everything you're going to say at 6:55. See, that's what we think you're going to do because you're giving us a preview of what you'll do for him. Do you not see that now? If not, you're dumber than a thought. I speak facts. Straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.